wants to stand up and we'll say pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start, I just want to thank everybody for coming. This is our first meeting as a new group for the township. And I want everybody to know that I've been meeting with a lot of different groups and people, and everything is very positive. I met with the mayor and the village manager this week, and we've been talking prior to that, and everything is going to be fine. We have a good relationship, and so we won't have that bickering that was going on in the past anymore. We are all going to be one community. We're all going to work together, Homer Glen and the township. And with Lockport, the same thing. If you're from Lockport, we're working with Lockport too. Now, I've been in discussion with the Lockport Township Park District, and I have no problem at all with Steve Strait. Everything is fine. So it's going to be a little bit different because we're not going to be doing any kind of like, I don't know the right word, but say like, we're not going to have fiefdoms. The fiefdom of Homer Glen, the fiefdom of Lockport, and the fiefdom of the township. That's not going to be anymore. Now it's a community, and our job is to work to fix the community we live in. And that's what this township board all agreed on when we ran. And we're going to do it. So thank you all for coming out. And the clerk's going to call the roll.
Sure. Supervisor Bollage.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Brent Porfilio.
Here.
Collector Mark Garwin.
Here.
Trustee Bonomo.
Here.
Trustee Adolph. Here. Trustee Conley.
Here.
Trustee Rivera.
Here.
Now we'll go into public comments.
We have a quorum.
Okay. First on the list, Josh Lund.
Good evening. My name is Josh Lund, as you already said. I prepared a statement because I saw on the agenda that you may be taking action to dissolve existing committees and then reform them. As a citizen who's served on the Parks and Rec Committee now for 5 years, I wanted to address this. My wife and I moved here in 2012. A few years later, I walked down the street with a stroller to take my 1-year-old son to the park. And there was nothing there, not a trash can, nothing for me to put the cigarette butts and beer cans I found on the ground into. I had to ask around because there wasn't even a sign to find out that it was called Lamris Park. I went to a Parks and Rec meeting and asked about improving it, but when the committee brought it to the township board, they said no. In the meantime, we decided to take action ourselves, and we organized multiple community cleanup events. I'm extremely proud of the work we did, just a neighborhood coming together. We picked up trash, we rebuilt benches, we hauled away brush, we fixed the obvious safety hazards near the lake. Materials were donated from Home Depot, and Bankston's Landscaping put in a stone path and a fishing pad for free. My wife and I met some of our best friends in this town, met our neighbors for the first time at these cleanups, and now years later we have barbecues with these people. Our kids go to school together. We're friends and we don't agree on everything, but we all want good parks in Homer. As I said, I was proud to do this work together with my neighbors, but in a town with all the potential we have, it shouldn't have to fall to the taxpayers to keep their own parks from falling into disrepair. I was surprised and honored to receive a Community and Nature and Harmony Award in 2016 from Mayor Yukich for these efforts, and I was asked to officially join the committee then. Since then, I've taken my family to every park in the township. I'm always documenting things to improve. I'm always looking for areas in which we can grow. Look, I know that many of you here want to wipe the slate clean and just start completely anew, but I'm not an elected official. I don't work for anybody. I'm just a dude who likes parks, who sits on a committee. You know, I've been part of a lot of recommendations for these parks, and the board has historically usually said no. We had big plans this year. Finally, we were going to address Lamris Park, where this all started for me. You know, 7 years ago, there were only a handful of kids in that subdivision, and if Halloween is any indicator, there's probably 100 now, and we still don't have any place to play. We still got 9 undeveloped acres. You know, I mentioned taking my son there in the stroller. He starts 3rd grade over there next fall. So still nothing's going on. You know, your campaign ad said you want to improve our parks. And, you know, so I'm hoping that maybe this is going to be the board that's going to keep that promise. And I'm curious to stay here and see what your plans are for positive change. You know, I'm not tired yet. I hope we can work together on this. And if you dissolve my committee tonight, I really hope you'll keep me on when you reconvene committees, because my goals haven't changed. And I know there's a lot we can do together. Thank you.
We kind of made a little error. We're going back to the beginning here. Whenever we have meetings here, we do a prayer. And we did the pledge, and then I neglected to call John Walters to read the prayer. So John, would you please read the prayer? If everybody could either sit or stand, whatever you want to do.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus, our Savior, times and seasons are in your able hands. You know when we are born and when we leave the earth and come back home. You knew that Mike DeVivo would not be here with us today. We wanted to praise you for the time that we had Mike here with us. We will go through this mourning season, Lord. We pray that you give us a deep sense of peace. We know that no one could ever take the place of Mike, and that's why we're asking you to fill the gap that Mike has left in our lives with your love. May we find comfort in you alone. We pray that you guide us always, satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting, strengthen us, and make us to make the tough decisions. We pray that we will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. We pray that we will be fruitful. Lord, please guide us so this meeting can be productive. Let us be effective and decisive. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, John.
Next is Sarah Haney.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you? I don't know if public comment is the time to ask questions about things that we see on the agenda?
So we don't answer, so open meetings aren't meant for a question and answer. We would
Okay.
invite you to ask questions before the meeting, or meet with, talk to any of us.
Okay.
But an open meeting is, the meeting is conducted in the open.
Okay.
It's for, per the Open Meetings
Can I
Act.
pose these questions?
You
and
sure
then-
should, you sure can, and then,
Answer them
let us
as
know,
well.
yeah,
Yes,
and then
sounds
someone
good.
can get back to you.
A couple of things. I noticed that you have on here leading an initiative to stop trucks from going into subdivisions. What I'm wondering is, will this also include going down 147th Street towards Gower? Because I have made many calls and spoken with a number of people about stopping trucks from going down this road, as they are not supposed to be going down this road. I've spoken with the local sheriff a number of times. So I'm just hoping that that's on the agenda, because this has been going on for a few years and I haven't really seen any improvement.
147th Street where? What cross?
In between Cream and Gauger, heading towards the warehouse district. Yeah. So I'm hoping that that's on there. My second question that I had was regarding videotaping the meetings. I'm wondering, is this going to be every single meeting that the township is offering? How many meetings a month is that, and what is the total cost of that, and what is the reason behind recording the meetings? And yeah, those are my two questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Sharon Swice.
Thank you. I can't stand this, my knees, sorry about that. Just a couple of things. Item 8A under new business was added without 48-hour notice. And that's a violation of the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
What are you talking about?
8A was added without 48 hours notice. Also, the agenda
This
lists...
was published already, and never mind. Go ahead and talk.
The agenda lists approval of the minutes for April 12th. That was already approved at the May 10th meeting, so you know, and it's already posted on the Township website. Some of the other items of major concern on the agenda is all these actions being taken so quickly with such a new board. Hiring an administrator to also serve as a FOIA officer, but isn't that the job of the clerk, which was handled always by the previous clerks? Long-term leases to the Porters, HAC, and Stallions sure looks like payback time for their support. Wanting to give away a portion of Morris Park to Lockport? Morris Park was from a federal grant that was done with the Bristol Heights Block Grant. Why give away valuable parkland? Wanting to give away the rest of the township parks? Why? Wanting to give to District 33C the Welter family property that was either purchased or donated to the township for the open space program? Why give away open space property? You said you were going to be transparent, so why don't the electors, residents have a say in any of this, and is any of this legal? These actions that are being proposed makes it look like the newly elected township board does not want to handle or be responsible for anything too much except to collect a paycheck. But that's my opinion. In closing, there is a saying, if you want to test a person's true character, just give them power. So what are you really saying to the residents? Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, next is Tracy Gretcher.
Hi.
Hi, Tracy.
So I'm here because I want to hold everybody accountable for what their promises were, and especially transparency. Thank you, Mark. Which was Mark Travis. Thank you very much for getting that done today. That was very, very important because I know that wasn't even thought about, which is crazy. Second of all, I saw the I'm part of like the arts community, so the $150 per meeting to videotape township meetings is ridiculous when you can go to the high school and probably get somebody like one of these art students that want to go into film and put that on their college resume. I mean, think outside the box. That's what I'm trying to maybe push on to the board, to think outside the box and involve the community. I want to talk about so much more, but I'll save it for later. But it was nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew
Roddy.
Rudiger. Okay, sorry.
It's all right, it's been butchered my whole life.
That's fine.
I'm with the Homer Athletic Club, currently the president for the last 3 years. Grew up out here, played sports out here, rode my bike up and down 143rd when there was absolutely nothing there. First of all, I would reiterate everything Josh said. We live in the same subdivision. Everything he said is 100% true. We run in the same subdivision, we run past the same parks. I've worked with him and the Parks Committee on several projects, and kudos to you, Josh, and I agree with everything you said.
Thank you.
I have a lot of questions that may come up once this discussion starts, and I understand that, hopefully that there aren't any hard decisions that are going to be made tonight, but I can speak for myself and partially for the board when I could say, there are user agreements that are in place I can only speak to Homer Athletic Club at the complex. Those user agreements, the last one I signed was over 20 pages long. They read a lot like a lease, but it's not a lease. A lease contract and a user agreement are two different things. So I need some definition on what that's going to look like, and I'd like to assume too that I'd have the opportunity to review it. The board would have to vote on it before we entered into any type of contract. I can speak for the board when I say that we cannot enter into any contract or lease that's going to increase our liability exposure over there or increase our expenses that we already incur over there, which are tens of thousands of dollars just for repair, maintenance on the ground, the equipment, gas, lights, porta potties. 3 minutes isn't enough for the list that goes on. So I'm just looking forward to working with you guys, but I'm looking for a lot more clarification. I don't expect that to happen tonight, but down the road, certainly would hope so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick Sheehan.
My name is Patrick Sheehan. I am a resident of Karen Springs and the president of Lockport Junior Porters Football and Cheer Program. For those of you who don't know, Lockport Junior Porters was established in 2014. And I've been a part of the program from the beginning. I started as a parent watching my 5 children and progressed from a game day volunteer to a coach, vice president as of January 2020, president of the organization. In those years, I've seen the program blossom from about 50 families in 2014 to now well over 150 families. Out of those 150 families, 90% reside in the Lockport and Homer Glen area. Since 2015, Lockport Junior Porters has established a good working relationship with Lockport Township High School and its administration. Our program has been renting Lockport Township High School facilities, practice fields, and the stadium fields since then. Due to coronavirus restrictions, we were unable to rent any of Lockport Township High School's facilities in 2020. For our spring football season, we are currently only allowed to rent and utilize the stadium field on Sundays. Homer School District 33C was gracious enough to allow our program to use Butler School Fields for practice this spring. Lockport Township High School and its administration has been good to us, but to put it plainly, we're at their mercy. And without the help of 33 administration, our program would be homeless. We all know youth sports teaches teamwork, boosts self-esteem, develops social and leadership skills, and improves academics off the field. Like the Homer Stallions, we're one of the few programs in the area that are able to conduct a spring football and cheer season for the physical and mental health of our athletes. Due to the uncertainty of the future, I brought our dilemma to the new Homer Township Board. On behalf of all the Lockport Junior Porters families, I want to thank the Homer Township Board for putting our item on the agenda for discussion and possible action.
Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer Consolino.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say congratulations on being here on the board. I also want to say, as somebody who has been fighting for the past several years to get these meetings videotaped, as I know some newbies here don't seem to understand, but the township unanimously voted at the annual town hall meeting in April 2019 to vote that all township meetings be video recorded. However, your former supervisor, who you were also supportive of, and her entire board refused to do so. They also stated that it would cost, what, $96,000 a year to video and actually hold on to the data?
I don't know why you're looking at me.
I'm just saying,
Very
everybody
awkward.
who's all very supportive. This is my time to, excuse me, this is my time to speak.
Just let her go.
Keep it down, otherwise
So,
I'll call the sheriff.
I wanted to
If
say,
you're interrupting, I'll call the sheriff and have her removed, so just let her talk.
thank you. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of myself and the 47 residents that were here that night that voted unanimously to get these meetings videotaped for transparency purposes, and for those that could not attend, because whether you're working or you're a mom, you cannot make it to all of these meetings. But I have been for several years, and I've been videotaping them for everybody else's benefit and my own. So, thank you again. I greatly appreciate it, and good luck going forward.
Okay, and Ellen Moriarty. Ellen?
So my questions are pretty much answered, but now I have another one. At that meeting that Homer Township unanimously voted to videotape meetings, how many Homer Township residents were at that meeting?
47.
47.
Only one person talks at a time.
So
That's it.
that's the
Just tell us the
unanimous,
only one that gets
that's
the
the
floor.
unanimous vote that, decided for the whole township. And then, I'm gonna look up myself the clarification on $96,000 a year. But anyway, I remember in the campaign here that anything over $50 was gonna be let out to bid. Is that still true? That was your campaign promise? Okay, so you're not gonna, so if $150 per meeting is the price here, I don't suppose that you can approve that tonight unless it's let out to bid first, so thank you.
And that concludes our public comments. All right.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the minutes, but we don't have the minutes from that month, so. It's this one. Yeah, so we're gonna, motion to table A.
I'd like to make a motion to table the approval of minutes and table it indefinitely.
So we got a second? Second by Rob. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, then the reports from elected officials and the supervisor is, I just have one thing to say, that all these items on here are, you're going to find out once we talk about each item and prove all you guys are wrong, what you said. But the bottom line is all these items are things that we're going to work on, and we're going to do it, we're going to continue working on them until we get them done. So this is an ongoing agenda. This is the first that gives us permission to go out and start doing it. So like Mr. Radadero, I know he has concern because Tony Drabeck, is Tony in here?
Yes.
And Tony is heading a task force for me to work with the sports groups to come up with a solution for them. But we can't even do anything until we vote on it. So this whole agenda here is setting the framework for everything going forward. And this is our way of fixing where we live. So some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it. Are we going to get it done in 1 month or 6 months? I don't know, but we're going to try like hell to get it done as fast as we can and do the best job we can. So when you're going over this, just because it has this and our action is to approve it, that means we're approving the idea that we're going to go forward to do it and get it done. We don't have any details in it because there are no details. We have people that are going to be going out, like Angela Adolph's going to be working with the school. And we are not, you're going to hear later on, but we're not giving open space away. So, you know, all these rumors come up, everybody just got to hold their horses. You know, you can make up lies and stuff and throw it on social media, I don't care. Don't bother me any, do all you want. But the reality of it is, this group is one chore, and that's to fix where we live, and doggone it, we're going to do it. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Karen, would you like to say anything? No. All right. Okay, for my report, first of all, I just wanted to mention that welcome everyone to our meeting. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your comments. Steve Ballage, Supervisor, Vicki Bozen, Clerk, Brent Porfilio, Highway Commissioner, Mark Garwin, Collector, Mike Bonomo, Angela Adolph, Matt Conley, and Rob Rivera are all trustees. Karen Chinkowski is still our assessor. Carmen Morello was voted in, which he'll take January 1st. He will be in office. I just wanted to mention that we will be staying with BMO Harris Bank to do our banking. And that's my report. That concludes my report. Okay, Brent.
Hi, everybody. I want to take a minute to acknowledge the passing of Mike DeVivo this week. I don't know if everybody has heard that, but he served in an amazing role as Highway Commissioner before me since 2005. He was in there for 16 years. So I'd like to take a few seconds and acknowledge him and a moment of peace and prayer quickly for him, if you don't mind.
Let's do a moment of peace.
Thank you for that. So I met with Mike last month to debrief me on all of the items that you have to know about to be a highway commissioner. And of course, I do this work for a living. However, Mike has a system set up that he had been running for a long time with the full staff of the road district and equipment and materials and everything else. And recently, many of you have probably heard of an intergovernmental agreement that the road district has with Village of Homer Glen. And I met with Mayor Yukich and Mr. Walsh and Steve last week, a few days ago it was actually, to talk about the intergovernmental agreement, to talk about the transferring of assets, what assets would be maintained by the road district, and what assets would be transferred over to the Village of Homer Glen. We're getting close to having that finalized, but I did volley over to the mayor the listing of transferred items that I'd like to see in the agreement. He's reviewing it, and we'll discuss what he feels is right with his board, I would imagine, with the Village of Homer Glen board, and get back to us so we can get this finalized. My thoughts on the road district may not agree with everyone else, but we're going to be approaching a 18-mile road district, whereas before it was over 150 miles. The purpose of it is to cut taxes for the Homer Township residents. That's the main goal of all this. So basically in a nutshell, all of the equipment and staff except for 2 people are going to be transferred over to Homer Glen Public Works, and along with the building and the grounds. And what I would like to do is have the new building that's built over to the west by Cream Road. If all of you have seen it, it's a blue building. And inside of that building, we still have to build out offices and bathrooms. And we got to run data and communications lines to it, and water and sewer and everything else. So it's not an occupied building yet. So right now, my staff and I are out in a trailer out in front of the building, doing what we have to do to make things operational. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. So basically, intergovernmental agreement for the transfer of most of the equipment and staff to Homer Glen for their public works department. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. And I'm just getting used to, I got to do a trip down the 18 miles of roads. I got to do an assessment of all of the assets, the signs, the culverts, the drainage systems, the ditches, the roads, and rate them and put together a long-term program and budget for the road district. That's what's in front of me. And I'm just getting into that now. That's as much detail as I can give you because I just started this week. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Beth.
Okay, any of the trustees have anything to share? Okay. So let's move on to new business.
Okay, under new business, A, we have a presentation of the Homer Township Road District tentative budgets, equipment and building, and road and bridge funds for fiscal year April 1, 2021 through March 31st, 2022. With the consensus of the board, the clerk will publish a notice of public hearing scheduled for June 21st, 2021. Any motion for that?
I'll first a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next thing is a motion to confirm the appointment of our attorney. We have Olson and Stirk representing us, and in my opinion, they're the best attorneys on the top part of Illinois where we live. Do I have a motion to approve the hiring of the appointment of the Olson Stirk firm? First motion. Motion by Angela, second by Rob. All in favor?
Aye.
We need a roll call on that, I'm sorry. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Okay, trustee Bonomo.
Aye.
Trustee Adolph.
Yes.
Trustee Conley.
Yes.
And trustee Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Supervisor Ballas votes yes. Motion to authorize Clerk Bozen to oversee reorganization of the township office personnel, hours, duties, and procedures. Got a motion for that?
I'll first the motion.
Second, anybody?
I'll second.
Second, Angela. All in favor?
Aye.
D, discussion and possible action to hire a township administrator to work under the direction of the township supervisor and clerk to lead administration of general assistance and manage the office, and serve as a township FOIA officer. Need a motion for that?
First motion.
Motion by Rob,
Second.
second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Was just advised that we should do a roll call for that.
Okay. All right, trustee Conley.
Yes.
Trustee Adolph.
Yes.
Trustee Rivera.
Yes.
And trustee Bonomo.
Yes.
Supervisor. Do you want to vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, discussion and possible action to dissolve all township committees in order to create new committees within 90 days. Do we have a motion?
Can we just, I'd like to just quickly say that this isn't so that we don't have committees. This is because we don't know.
We don't know what we need.
We weren't, I don't have any information on the committees, so just to address, I feel like we can address it
Yeah,
out in the open
absolutely.
right now. It's not meant
That's what-
to say we're not having committees, it's just meant to, we don't know, this is our first meeting, we've only been here a couple of days, so we want to make sure that everything is done correctly. I just felt like you were here here and.
I just want to stay on it. I'm not ready to get rid of them.
Duly noted, Josh.
Is there any other discussion on the board on that? Do I get a motion? We got that already, and so we'll call for a roll.
Okay, motion for that, sorry. Motion for that.
Angela?
Yeah, sure, I can make that.
Angela
Okay.
and Rob.
Okay, Angela, okay. You want me to do a roll call? Sure.
Yeah.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Eva?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
And Trustee Bonomo?
Yes.
Okay, item F, discussion of possible action to hire a township finance firm to help us out with our finances. And I went and I talked to 3 different firms, and I did not get written quotes because I wasn't even supposed to be, I wasn't in the job yet. But I knew going into this I needed somebody right away. I interviewed 3 different firms, and it so happened that the firm that was the least expensive and the best fit is the one that we're going to pick. John Kasperzak, and he's over here. So I saw him earlier, so I don't know where he's right here. So he's going to be our new financial person, consultant. I need to get a motion to accept John.
I'll first the motion.
Second. Second by Rob. Discussion from the board up here. Hearing no discussion, roll call, clerk.
Okay. Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Adolph?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
And Trustee Bonomo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yeah, the G, discussion and possible action regarding the annual audit. There is no status right now. The previous board has already voted to go ahead and do it, so we don't have any information about it yet. We've only been here for 3 days, so that's why we're not going to talk about it. Discussion and possible action to hire Grant Spooner for $150 per meeting to video and record township meetings, and then put it on YouTube, and we'll put it on our website. To answer the people that were saying we didn't go out to bid, we did. We got a bid for $600, a bid for $450, and a bid for $797. And Grant's was $150. So we're very pleased to have Grant. I'd like to get a motion from the board.
I'd like to discuss one thing about Grant, if it's okay
We got a
with you.
Make a
Motion.
motion and then we'll have the
Okay, I'll take it.
discussion.
I'll first the
Okay,
motion.
second.
I'll first the motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Discussion.
But my discussion would be with Grant Spooner. He's been doing this for a long time. I know he's been. First one. Huh? Well, I'm talking Lockport, Homer Glen. He's part of the fabric of the community. He's always in communication on Facebook, positive, everything is good. And I think he's a great asset for us in order to do his job with videotaping our meetings. So I'd just like to say that.
Any more discussion from the board?
I appreciate the 3 bids. Thank you.
Then let's call the roll.
Okay, Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Adolph?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
And Trustee Bonomo?
Yes.
Okay, discussion and possible action regarding township reorganization chart, or an organization chart for all the different jobs and duties. Motion for that?
Does someone make a motion for that?
A motion.
Okay.
Motion by Matt. Second. Second by Rob. Discussion.
Yeah.
The motion is to create an organization chart. No.
And that doesn't require
This requires no money at all. We're doing it ourselves. So it's just a matter, we have to know what positions we have, what they encompass, and how we have to organize it. And right now, we don't know, and that's why we're gonna start from scratch and find out.
So there's no action required?
Pardon?
Is there action required of us? Or just?
No, yeah, we have to approve doing it.
Okay.
So we got a motion and a second and discussion. Any other discussion on it? Do you want to call the roll?
No, we just all in favor, this is about the money.
No, our attorney says call the roll.
Oh, okay.
No, you can do voice vote.
Okay, I can do that one. Then we'll have a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion and possible action to issue a request for proposals for IT. We got 3 different quotes. The best quote was from HA Technology, and I'd entertain a motion to approve HA Technology.
So, I'm sorry, Steve, so we have a proposal, so you're seeking a motion for AJ Technology.
Right. Well, we can get, we got quotes. Yeah, we got it. So we need to, get these working. No, we went out and we got bids, not bids, we got quotes from companies. And like I said, AJ Technologies was by far the best. And, I take a motion to hire AJ Technologies.
Excuse me, Steve, what? That is for just the township, am I correct?
Yeah, unless you wanted to, but
No, I have my own.
the road district is probably going to be involved too somewhere. But I got to. Do what? Wasn't this Well, we're gonna table this one for 2 days or 3 days when we get our trustees to come and just vote on this one. And it'll take them 2 minutes because the attorney said the language on there is not correct. So we're gonna come back to that. So I'll need a motion to postpone this for a short period of time.
Okay, Rob.
I'll second that motion.
Second, Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion and possible action regarding a long-term lease to the Stallions and HAC for the complex. Like I said before, this is, we're approving going forward to work with the Stallions. I don't see Dan Hagan or JR here, but we're approving going forward to work with them to work out all the details. Same with HAC. So I get a motion to move forward with working with the groups to come up with a deal.
A motion?
I'll second.
Discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, too, so that passes. Discussion and possible action regarding long-term lease for 3 fields and parking with the Lockport Junior Quarters for a portion of Morris Park. It's the same thing. We have to work out all the deals because it's not even built yet. So, they're very excited about getting it. Is there any discussion on this one?
No.
And I have a motion.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
A motion? I'll motion forward.
The motion to move forward on it? Matt?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion and possible action for potential IGA giving, well, I read that one already, sorry. Discussion and possible action for IGA giving Homer Glen all the township parks except for the sports complex. Again, this is all in discussion, and I think they'd be excited to get our parks. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, M, we didn't do. See, I skipped it. My eyes don't work good all the time. Discussion and possible action regarding a potential IGA giving the park, the portion of Morris Park, to Lockport Township Park District. And I talked with them, and I have to meet with them next week. And we'll start talking about details. Do I get a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by
I'll second the
Angela,
motion.
second by Mike.
Yeah, motion to move forward, exactly. With discussion.
Is there any discussion?
No, meaning the motion to move forward with having the discussions about the intergovernmental agreement.
Yeah. Okay. You want to call the roll on that?
No, we're not.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then N, like Nancy, discussion and possible action for IGA giving Homer Glen all Homer Township parks except the sports complex. Again, what I said before, need a motion and a second to move forward on discussion.
All motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
O, discussion and possible action regarding a potential IGA with School District 33C to give them property donated by the Welter family to be used by children. Back in 2001, when Founder's Crossing was built, that land was donated by the Welter family, and I was approached by a member of the family, and they asked me if I would be willing to give some property to the school district, District 33C. We have a member from the board there. I've been talking with Craig Shoppy, and they're real happy about it, but the family's real happy about it because it was originally supposed to be donated to do something for children, like a gymnasium or a football field or something on that order. And so they're going to get it now. And Angela Adolph is going to run that task force to make sure we don't go into the open space because that's something different. So I need a motion to move forward on that.
So I'll make the motion to proceed with the discussion with Homer 33C.
Second, anybody?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you got discussion and possible action regarding a potential IGA with I just read that. Assignment of trustee, this is the one that somebody brought up, I think was sailing.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah? Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Assignment of trustee Bonomo to lead an initiative to stop the trucks from going into the subdivisions. Mike, you want to tell them what the status on that is?
Sure.
So
So,
Mike's been working on this for over a month. He wasn't even supposed to be in office yet.
as everybody knows, it's a lot of bureaucracy dealing with here. You got Archer as a state road, and then leading into this into the subdivision that is considered a township road. So we're in a sense dealing with two entities and also the companies that are involved in this endeavor that I put myself into. And I started out with Kyle Armstrong, who's the engineer of traffic operations for IDOT, and he directed me to Eric Campos, who I've talked with, and he erects the signs on highways or tollways or any state roads. And I had to meet with Roy at the entrance to this Lockport Township or Lockport Heights there. And, well, let me reverse that. The signs that were currently placed up in the last month were done by Prologis. They're red and white no truck signs, and those were put up probably in the last 4 weeks, I'm going to say. anyone has noticed them, they're new signs that were erected. And they really do no good because the signs are too far into the subdivision where the trucks that make the turns, they've already made the commitment. The signs, in my view, have to be on Archer, probably a quarter mile before they enter the subdivision in order to be effective. Or we need to put up larger signs as they enter with the flags and lights or whatever to get their attention. I've also had discussions with Yellow and our YRC, who are the trucking companies that frequent in there. Their main depot is in Bolingbrook, and then they go into the Prologis complex. S&S Distribution, which is the big player there, they're the ones that have the most truck traffic. Mike Trester, who is the terminal manager there, has had discussions with they have about 7 to 10 truck drivers that are frequent the area Prologis, and they're the ones that are probably the biggest culprit at the time. He's led me to believe that he's had discussions with all the truck drivers and informed them to not make that left turn. So that Yellow and YRC hopefully takes them off the table, but then we have the others to deal with. I'm waiting for S&S to get back to me so they can inform all of their drivers to do the same. I've talked to Dorothy Jordan, who is Prologis. She took over for Jim McGrath, and I dealt with him in the past when they were starting to build Prologis because I live in Creekside, and we were, in a sense, directly affected by that development. Lockport Heights, in my view, got slammed because they're directly affected by it. For me, I'm in Creekside, and far enough away, but just the visual of Prologis made people uneasy. And a lot of the studies that they were doing on traffic did not affect the children getting on school buses on Archer, so there was a lot of things that I felt were not done appropriately. So now we fall into this problem. And the problem with Lockport Heights, they have no sidewalks, they have no, it's pretty much an open game, and when in the summer, I think we're going to have a problem. That's why we have to stop it now, because those trucks pull in. In order to get out, they have to back out onto Archer, or they have to go in and figure a way out, going the other way, and you have kids on the side, on the streets, riding their bikes, walking, people with their dogs and stuff. So I'm aggressively going after this, and the next step, with this, and again, IDOT says that they, in a sense, need a tragedy in order to erect a sign on Archer. So we've spoke about putting a sign up on Archer on our own, and I'm told by Eric Campbell, St. Kyle Armstrong, they'll leave it there. Normally, the state, if it's a sign that's really offensive or whatever, of course they'll take it down. But this is in the safety of the residents, so I would think they'd leave it be. Now, I'm going to be working with Brent, of course, being the highway commissioner. He'll probably be doing a lot of the legwork. I'm getting everything started here. But I consider myself a go-to. Anyone who wants to reach out to me, feel free. Send, with pictures and stuff, so I will be the one, be the bad guy calling these truck companies and whoever else to start the dialogue in the process. And I've been doing that, and especially with IDOT, I'm at wit's end right now because, again, I know the traffic light that's up there, it took a lot of time, I think 2 or 3 hours of pressing us up before they finally put it up, and it means accidents and or injuries, and that's totally wrong. So, again, I'm here to be a go-to. I'm going to do everything I can to get this problem solved, and we have to get it solved before summer when the kids are on the street, and in harm's way.
Mike, would I be able to ask a question?
Sure, of course.
Not right now.
Not right now. Well,
After the meeting.
After the meeting.
Anybody has any
After the
questions, you
meeting.
can ask it after the meeting.
Yeah.
You get it, Mike?
Yes, I'm finished. Thank you.
And one thing I wanted to say about this also, before we move on, we have more stuff involved with this. I want to thank the Village of Homer Glen Public Works Department, who's working with our road commissioner to get the signs that we need, because the township doesn't have that. They used to, but they don't anymore. And so the Public Works Department with the village is going to help out by letting us use the proper signs and stakes. Is it the stakes too, Brent?
Yeah, whatever that we don't have in attic stock, we're going to order and we're going to pay for it
Goes back to what I
ourselves.
said, we're all working together on this stuff. Then, under that same thing, one of the things that's going on is that a Will County Sheriff can't sit there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and neither can Lockport Police. So how do you make it so that we can enforce? Mike's going out and doing a lot of work on it, but how can we do work for ourselves? Like you say, you give somebody a fishing pole and teach them to fish instead of giving them the fish. Well, we're going to have to go out and figure out how to solve it ourselves. So we're going to do something that probably isn't what most people would do in our case. We're going out of the box. And I talked with the sheriff, and they don't have a problem with it. We're going to do volunteer enforcement officers, and those volunteer officers are going to be able to write tickets. They're going to be shown how to do it from the Will County Sheriff, and they're going to be sitting there. They can go out with themselves, with two of them. They can sit there and just talk for a while, drink coffee, and wait for a truck. And hopefully the people in the subdivisions are the ones that mainly volunteer for this, because you don't want your lawn ruined, your trees knocked down, your mailboxes knocked down. So you're all going to be able to write tickets on these trucks. With that, a ticket right now is a $35 fine because it's a sign violation. And it's not going to stop the trucks. All right, we're going to, the next thing is we're going to be doing a motion to approve an ordinance with a certain fine. We have to get with our attorney and find out what that would be. It'd probably be like $1,000 to $2,500. And then we're going to try to get it where everybody that's involved with this thing is going to be trying to do their best to protect the people in those subdivisions. And most of them are in Lockport along 355. So if you live there, we don't want those trucks ruining your neighborhood. And we're going to do everything we can to stop it. So with that, we need a motion to approve the appointment of township enforcement officers.
Motion.
Need a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to approve an ordinance that will work out with the attorney to find out what we can actually, how much we can fine, but to impose certain permits and fines concerning semi-trucks on subdivision roads in the township. Need a motion for that?
Yeah, this is more for direction. You can direct the attorney to...
The attorney just told me I don't need an emotion, that's just for direction, so just so everybody knows we're doing it. Okay.
Number two.
Number
Or three.
Okay. And number 2.
Okay.
If anything, if you wanted to move to direct the township attorney to prepare such an ordinance, that would be...
That would fit in there?
Yeah, that would be...
Okay, we're going to make a motion to approve the township attorney creating an ordinance that we can use to fight stopping these trucks going into subdivisions. Do I get a motion for that?
Motion. I'll second that motion.
Motion by Rob, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we're on Q. Discussion and possible action regarding the parade and assignment of township trustees and staff to coordinate. We are going to have a parade. We will try to change the way it went, but we're not going to do it now. And the clerk, Bozen, and myself, and our township administrator, we're going to be working on the township side. Rose Renders is going to be working with the village side, and the Chamber of Commerce, the Heritage Chamber, will also be involved. And it's going to be on June 26th, and it'll be the same like last year. The following year, the chamber will probably be taking it over, and we're going to be changing the route. But again, it's another one of those deals where you have the village of Homer Glen, the Homer Township, and the chamber all working together. It's about time we all work together and stop fighting with each other about stupid stuff. So that's going to all come to an end. We're all going to be doing what we need to do to make you guys happy. Okay. Next one is, no, we don't need a motion for that, do we?
There's no money.
No, that's information. Okay. So everybody knows what's going on there on the board? You guys all cool with that?
Yes.
Discussion and possible action regarding the highway commissioner and the township road district building with direction to the supervisor and assigned trustees to proceed with a strategy. All right, well, the strategy is that we're going to need to get a motion to proceed with the IGA, number one, to have a new IGA for the road district. Our Homer Township Road District needs just a tiny bit more than it got. And I have no doubt that the village is going to go along with us because we're all working together really well. A year ago, I'd say no way in hell. But now I'm going to say, I would say it's going to happen. Then the other thing is we're going to proceed with the IGA to build the path from the sports complex into Heritage Park. And that's going to be done real quick because we want to make it so the strollers can go through the parking at the sports complex at Heritage Park for the Homer Fest, which is right around the corner. So thanks to our road commissioner and the Public Works Department for the village, they're going to work together and get it done. And from what I understand, there's talk, it hasn't been approved, but there's talk about dedicating it to Mike DeVivo, and calling it something like Cooperation Pathway or Unity Pathway or whatever. And the reason for words like that, if it's going to be that name, I don't know. But the reason for that is that from now on, we don't want to have the split. Like I said earlier, we don't want to be split. We want to all work. We're one group of people. We all pay taxes to Homer Glen and Homer Township and Lockport if we live in Lockport. So we want to make sure everybody is together. Because it's stupid to fight with each other about dumb things. Because it's all the same taxpayers. So that's where we're at with that. Do I need a motion on that now?
Yeah, I think there's a motion to approve the strategy and direct the supervisor to
move
forward with the idea.
Okay, so I need a motion to proceed with the strategy of creating the IGAs and direct the supervisor, which is me, to move forward with the IGAs. I'll be working with our attorney. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll move to approve the supervisor to continue discussion.
Can I get a
and move forward with the
second?
IGA.
I'll second the motion.
Mike seconded. All in favor? We need to do it wrong.
Trustee Conley?
Yes.
Trustee Adolph?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
And Trustee Vanilla?
Yes.
Okay, the last item on our agenda, well, it's not last, but it's getting close. Discussion and possible action regarding the pending road district litigation. And I don't think we need to go into an executive session. I think we're just gonna.
If we're discussing any kind of litigation, I would.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, for right now, we're gonna just table this so we can get, we gotta get our feet wet. We gotta find out, what we have to, what we have to do with the other stuff. But my intentions will be why should the township be suing the village? But at the same time, I gotta find out more about this before I do anything. But I don't think there's gonna be a problem, so I think in the end, we'll probably be ending it real quick. But again, we don't know for sure. But I'm pretty sure it'll go away. And then, so we're gonna move to table item number 8. Can I get a motion to table item number 8?
8S.
8S.
S like Sam.
Yes.
I'll motion.
Motion by Matt,
I'll second.
second by Angela. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any?
Sorry, yes.
All in favor? Everybody's in favor, then carries.
There's no bills or claims for the special meeting.
There's no bills or claims for the special meeting, so we don't need any votes. So that was it. Need a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you.